Hello folks, my guy here again. Welcome to my home on this very beautiful spring day. This is my third attempt to do this video. They must be coming out of Air Force Base miles from here, but of course miles is relative when it comes to Air Force, right? Man, those big old tankers, you don't get any commercial jets flying over here, over my head, but man, when those tankers fly over, those refueling tankers, they are huge and they're big and they're noisy. So we might get interrupted by another one of those. It's already happened twice. This is my third take. But consider, by the way, giving me a thumbs up on this video right away. While you have the chance, hurry before a tanker flies over. Give me one of these. Jeez. The name of this video is called The Why Guy Message to Pharisee-Minded People. Now, I personally don't like labels, and I don't like labeling people, but sometimes it's appropriate. And it is in this case, and you'll understand why as I continue this video. But speaking of labels, I don't even like to be labeled as a Christian. And a lot of Pharisee-minded people are going, well, yeah, that's because you ain't one. You ain't one, okay? Well, I'm the same as all of the Pharisee-minded people as far as labels go, because God is a potter and we're all his clay, okay? I don't care if you're Pharisee-minded or an atheist or whatever you think you are, or whatever you label yourself, we're all clay in his hands, the work of his hands. So relax. Anyway, I get an awful lot of comments on social media, well, I should say on YouTube. Facebook, the Pharisee-minded folks, they avoid me for some reason. But here on YouTube, they don't. And I want to, because I get a lot of them responding, that's why I have a message. That's why it's titled The Why Guy Message to Pharisee-Minded People. Because by getting a lot of comments on YouTube from people who, they know their Bibles, and they know their Bibles very well. But the problem is what they think they know. And a lot comes from either perverted Latin-based scripture or from a legalistic perspective. And it's usually a combination of both. Did you catch that? That's a horrible combination that usually produces self-righteous thinking. It just does. So when people when people like this comment on social media from the very beginning, or I should say on YouTube from the very beginning of dialogue, it's so easy to tell if someone is legalistic, self-righteous, and how they use a perverted rendering of Scripture, because they spew tons of Bible verses that oftentimes has absolutely nothing to do with the content of my video. I find that so odd. It's like, here's a bunch of Bible verses, and I'm like, I read a few of them, and I'm like, what? I have a feeling that a lot of them are they're just lonely. They're just lonely people, often friendless too, and who desire to be heard, to be recognized for the vast amount of knowledge that they've obtained. They don't have anything else to do in their life, so they, don't get me wrong, they feel that they love God, and their face is probably in their Bibles all the time. So they're gaining tons and tons of what they consider good stuff. Bible knowledge. But the problem is that the knowledge is just that. It's knowledge. And it usually has no basis in love. They haven't experienced that kind of love because they're sitting there alone with their Bibles. Oh my goodness. And oftentimes with a Pharisee-minded person, they consider their Bible and God as one and the same, and it's not. That's called idolatry, folks. It's not. That's not God. All right? Because God is love. Anyway, I went on a rant here, leaving my notes and whatever. Anyway, but what usually ends up happening, they accuse me on these videos, and they leave their replies. By the way, I want to encourage those of you who are subscribers, get involved a little bit more. Help these folks out. Help set them straight in a loving way, which probably a better way than what I usually do, okay? So yes, I'm a hypocrite. But anyway, they accuse me of not possessing the knowledge that's worthy of their respect, usually. And guess what? I don't want it. their knowledge or their respect. I don't care. Yes, I do think I know a crap load of things that you guys and gals, I'm speaking to the Pharisee-minded people now, that you guys and gals, continually bring up. I do. But if you think I'm going to vomit scriptures back and forth with someone like you, then you're going to have to think again. Okay? Let me now ask all of you a question, you Pharisee-minded folks. What is your motive? What's your purpose for asking the questions that can only be based upon what you think is the correct answer, considering you were not present when the original words were spoken? And since you can't speak the languages that those words were originally written or spoken, you follow me? So all you can do is speculate. Myself as well. But to you, the problem is, before I get into the problem of the speculation, I base my speculation on the fruit of the Spirit of God. I want to get into that a little bit later. And I use the character of God as a guideline, okay, when it comes to speculation. So I'm no different when it comes to speculation, okay? But to you, the problem is you don't think of speculation. Why? Because you have a Bible. And that's what you use as proof that you're not speculating. But you are. You're speculating right up here. Anyway, now I'm really impressed, okay? Oh, I got puppies wanting up on my lap and more jets coming up. Oh, look at this little girl. She's getting not so little anymore. This is my little Kia girl. Yes. Anyhow, where was it? Also, as a Pharisee-minded people, I highly doubt that most of you even have a clue of what love is. From what I've experienced, okay? So your answers are moot. Your answers to my going back and forth, my question to you, moot meaning clang, clang, ding, ding, whatever you caught that. This causes your words and your answers that you supply to me to be without meaning and possibly worthless, because you don't care at all about me or anyone knowing the truth, but you care more about you being right. And I know some of you might think the same of me. I understand that. But that's an assumption on my part, and at least I'm the one being honest thus far. It's obvious that you folks have an agenda, and you don't give a diddly squat about a different perspective than your own. So if I'm wrong, please forgive me. Just a minute. My goodness. But after being on YouTube for over 8 years, okay, I've come to recognize you. I have. So, my dear viewer, how do I know if I'm dealing with a Pharisee? I've learned that when they first reply to my videos, and they leave comments, okay, they start making accusations and judgment calls while talking down to me, right out of the gate. Then they vomit a vast amount of scripture before I even get a chance to offer my first reply. I kid you not. You know what, folks? I usually don't even read any more than just one or a few passages because I quickly scan them. And it's not hard to decide that they've been cherry-picked to condemn and judge people in general, or judge me in general. And I don't mean the good kind of judgment as in making an assessment based on love, but in a condemning way. That's why I use the word condemn and judge. And more times than not, you'll see the word hell somewhere within the mix, probably multiple times, okay? So these kind of folks are not worth the trouble, and no good comes from having a conversation with them. So whenever I do reply, their response never brings out the fruit of God's Spirit in either one of us, okay? But it's designed to feed their law-driven ego. I hope you caught that too. So prove me wrong about this. But instead of proving me wrong, their ego will nitpicks every word of my reply and accuse me of something brand new that wasn't even part of the conversation in the first place. This is how it works, okay? That's how these folks operate. I've seen it hundreds of times, and I have a feeling I'm going to regret this offer that I'm getting ready to make here on YouTube to you Pharisee-minded folks. However, if any of you really want to have a real conversation with me, all right, tone it down a little, okay? Just back off and use only a couple of scriptures at a time that are relative to my video. I'm not asking too much about that. And get rid of your I'm right and you're wrong attitude. You know, and likewise, I'll get rid of my defensive attitude. You with me? You know, I'm game for that. And who knows, it might be fun, and both of us might learn something from each other. That's what we're here for, to help each other out, right? Not to condemn and judge each other. Otherwise, you know, if you guys aren't willing to do that, I'm just going to block your ass. It's as simple as that. Jeez. Well, isn't that a great way to end this video? Look me up on Facebook. Okay? Did you remember to give me one of these? Look me up on Facebook under a group called the White Guy Group. Also, my avatar name is John Anthony Jones. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, consider doing so. And there's that little bell that's below there on the, I think it's the right-hand bottom corner there. If you click that, you'll get notified each time I have another video. If you scroll down to the Show Me More section, you're going to see 7 links, soon to be 8. 3 of the links are to my 3 books that I have published on Amazon, and there'll be a 4th link for my 4th book coming up soon. I'm hoping within the month anyway. And you're going to see a link to Patreon for those of you who support this channel using Patreon, another link to Coffee. Thank you guys so much. I can't thank you enough. It really helps me out. It's tough for all of us all the way around, okay? I won't even get into it, a sob story of what's going on around here. So, and then a link to the White Guy channel, as well as, and I'm missing one and I don't remember. And lastly but not least, I know I've never said this at all in this video, but consider giving me one of these. Thumbs up, a like. It's fun being a smart aleck. Thank you for viewing.